Sure. Greetings, grasshoppers. We are back with the epic engagement adventure. And today, on this day, I have the epic Blaney Teal for you. Listen, there's a lot of stuff in her bio. Go ahead and read it. But here's my experience with Blaney. Blaney is a person who, much like me, always looking for the next great way to do something with a lot less effort. Also, looking constantly for great ways to engage her people. I've invited her on. We're honored to have you, Blaney. How are you today?
I am doing absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, RJ, for having me. It's so exciting. And I'm glad that we kind of do have the same kind of skill level and I guess passion for tech and cool stuff, right?
Yes, passion for cool stuff. I just about gave you a call when I was shopping AppSumo Black Friday deals. And I thought, well, she's probably busy reviewing these on her own. Anyway, could you tell the people who you are, where you're from, what do you do?
Absolutely. So I am from Baltimore, Maryland, and I am a mom of two. Super excited because my son's in the military overseas right now. My daughter is about to turn 16, so I don't have any youngins in the house anymore. I'm truly a solopreneur. Honestly, I have started, at the age of 7, starting my business. And now I have two businesses. So who doesn't? If we love business, you love the challenge of business. So I run a global networking organization called Making Business Connections, where I help solopreneurs and entrepreneurs and business owners connect and not just get more business, but have more fun networking, but also to grow their network. So when they need something, they have the go-to person, but they also learn business skills and training. So I love that. I started that in 2017. And of course, it's been a whirlwind with, the pandemic and all. So, we were totally in person. That's all we did. And now we're hybrid. So we have virtual and in-person events. And that's just been an incredible experience to be able to, again, to create some fun virtual events. And then if I take that hat off, I'm also the Frugal Techie Business Coach. And that's where, RJ and I, we kind of align because my love and my passion is to help, especially solopreneurs, implement those tools, systems, and automations in their business, but without breaking their budget. That is, I think, is really where I strive. I vet everything. Like you said, I went through AppSumo and my all my clients are like, what did you get? What'd you get? Can we get it? I'm like, until I totally test it out, until I know it's not junk, I am not going to share it with you. I'm sorry, you're going to have to wait. I only picked up 3, by the way, on Black Friday, but and I did. I vetted them, and again, I don't want my clients to go spend a lot of money, but I also want them to make the right decisions when it comes to the tools and tech that are out there. And then, of course, I can help them shorten the learning curve. Because if they work with me, then I can make sure that they get stuff implemented. Because so many people, we talk about this, you buy stuff, it sits in your email bookshelf, if you want to call it that, and you never, ever even open it and you paid for it, or even if you got it for free. So I'm all about implementation, accountability, and making sure that people make good choices when it comes to investing in tech and tools and automation. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh. I know. I just we hit it off right away, everybody, as you knew that we would. I've had the privilege of kind of being in your circle for the last couple 3 months here. And it really you care so much about your people. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of coaches, you know, you want me to promote this software? Great. I mean, they don't even, care to grab a copy, but you are the person who says, no, 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 buck stops here. I'm going to vet this for you. I'm going to make sure that it works before I recommend it. I just want to applaud you for that
Thank you.
because not that many coaches care in the way that you do.
Well,
What?
and I think for me, I've been in their shoes. So a lot of these folks are solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, trying to do everything themselves, and they only have a limited budget, right? They can't just throw money at the wall and, like you said, mud at the wall and hope it sticks. They need to make sure that the money that they're spending makes sense. And sometimes that means ditching a tool that you're using and that you even paid for and replacing it with something that's better, or, it could be a little more expensive or it could even be less expensive. But sometimes you have to make those choices in your business. And I do care. And it's so funny. Today, I've had 2 of my clients, they're in my academy, who have texted me, have you heard of this software? And I'm like, yep, don't get it. The other one's like, have you heard this offer? I'm like, that's the same as that, but with a different name, and it's 3 times as much. So you really don't want that. But they're like, they know better now. People in my academy, they send me texts going, because they know I don't know everything. There's a lot of stuff I still don't know that's out there because people white label stuff and they put other names on stuff and they rename stuff. But if I see it, like somebody had a demo, I looked at the demo and I'm like, oh, I know what that is. I don't care what you call it. It's still hot under the bones. And and they appreciate me because I want their dollars to go further. And like you said, I'm not just going to sell them or recommend something to somebody if I don't personally use it, or at least have used it, and I refer it to my clients and my customers. Because number two is, if I don't know how to use it, how am I going to help them implement it, right?
That's
So
right.
and you're right. People come to me all the time. Will you share this out? Will you market this for me? Will you be my affiliate for this? And if I am not, and actually there's one of them that my friend recommended, and she was like, what about this? I said, nope, they came to me and asked me to be affiliate. I did not approve of it. So I said no. So I do know what it is because I looked at it. I took it for a test drive and I decided against using that platform. It is not, and money aside, the platform itself just stunk. So it didn't matter how much it cost. It could be free. I wouldn't have told them to use it. So yeah, I do care. And like I said, because I've been in their shoes, and I wish somebody had told me, stop buying all the shiny objects because it looks cool or it's on sale. Like, stop it. I know we do that, but I'm doing it for research, so I'm allowed to.
Yeah, there you go.
Research.
That is also my
Right, exactly.
actualization.
Right. It's research.
Well, so you said you started a business when you were 7. I've not heard this story, and I am dying to.
Oh.
What were you doing at 7?
So at 7, I used to make crocheted wreaths because my grandmother was a knitter and a crocheter. And so she taught me how to crochet these Christmas wreaths. And I would go around school in the neighborhood and literally sell these beautiful little wreaths. And then it evolved to the age of 9 where I hand painted barrettes. And this is kind of scary today. So don't let your kids do what I did. So when I was 9, we used to go to Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and my girlfriend and I would paint and braid these little barrettes, and we would have a board that we made displaying all of our wares, and we would walk blanket to blanket to any family that had a little girl, and we would sell our barrettes to them for like $1 a piece, and we would sell out every day. We go home, we make more. The next day we go back to the beach in the morning, and we literally did that every summer for like 3 years. Nowadays, as I said, I would never let my 9-year-old walk the beach by herself. But back then it was a different world. And yeah, so that's how I got started. And then it grew into another figurine business. I sold wholesale at between 12 and 15 years old, got into real estate, got into new home sales, started a consignment business for 11 years. So let's just say I've had lots of different businesses, some successes, some failures. Not everything's a huge success. But I did sell my consignment business after 11 years, which was actually kind of fun to be able to sell that off to another young mom that was ready because my kids are getting too old to have fun with it. So yeah, I have a lot of experience in sales and marketing and mainly a lot of do-it-yourself stuff. I just like to dig in. And what's really interesting, RJ, is I honestly thought for the longest time until I got a really good business coach that everybody could do what I do. I really thought you could just go Google whatever and learn it and implement it, and boom, you'd have a business. And I honestly do know now that our skills, these techie, you're just like me, techie and creative. Like, we are both techie, creative, right? So, I had a stamping up business for 14 years where we made cards and scrapbooking, but I also love doing all the funnel building and the Canva graphics and stuff. So it's like, it's so weird to do that, right? And I love that, a lot of people I work with are very heart-centered. So they have no idea, or they're just starting a business and they are great at what they do, whatever they do, but they just don't know how to run a business. And you have to have both, right? You have to have the business head, and then you have to have your passion head. And you've got to be able to have both of those to be successful.
You do. And that's the tough thing, because when, my story is I sat on the couch and went, well, if it works for other people, it'll work for me, certainly. And I've got tech nerd knowledge, so this will be great. And gosh, I do have some of that knowledge, but it got me into trouble just as much as it saved me. I would just go down these roads, and then I started to recognize the patterns. People will say, oh my God, my easy 4-step system. And, and then they make the first step completely impossible for you,
right. Right. Yeah.
Or not even practical. And it's like, okay, what, I mean, this has been a waste of my time. And it's so hard because everything looks like it's eligible and it's really not. It doesn't, if it doesn't align with you, your personality, if it doesn't align with, what your plans are, what your marketing stuff is, it's
Yep.
so, it can be, it can be difficult. So I'm glad that you are the gateway, for your people. You are the guide. Do not buy that. Buy this instead.
But
Um,
right? But think about that. I mean, I think it goes back to my integrity. That's one thing that I was always told that I have is integrity, right? Because I don't want my clients coming back and say, "Well, you told me to invest $4,000 in this product over here." And it wasn't what they needed. It might have been too complicated for them, way above where they are in their business right now, right? Because you have to scale. So there are free, I always share if there's a free option, I tell them start with the free option. If there really is one, start with the free option. And then as you grow, you can then upgrade to the paid option, or you can even switch products if you need to, because there's no reason to spend more money than you need to, depending on where you are in your business. And not everybody needs every tool out there either. Like, depending on where my clients are in their business, they may not even need texting right now. Like, I know I didn't get into texting for a long time because I didn't need it. My business was super small and I can manually text 5 people. Now, when I have 300 people, it's like, okay, there's got to be some automation going on, right? There's got to be stuff going on. And I have so many people in my networking group, and the reminders go out the night before and all of that. And it's all automated, because the old Blaney would have got her cell phone and looked, and then you typo phone numbers and you text the wrong people, right? You're texting the wrong, oops, sorry, typo. Yeah. So again, but when somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, I need a texting app," it's, well, how many texts are you going to be sending out? How often are you going to be sending them out? Because you can just do pay as you go then. If you just, I mean, there's pay as you go text apps where you literally, when you spend $20 and it stays in there until your money's gone, versus doing a monthly recurring and you get minutes you're never going to use, or the amount of text you're never going to use. So yeah, just kind of vetting their situation and to helping them make good decisions. Again, it's ultimately, it's up to them, right? Ultimately, it's totally up to them to choose what they think is going to be best. But I do see a lot of people getting swayed by, Facebook ads popping up constantly, selling them, right? And I love to read the comments on the Facebook ads for products and services, because those are like, they're hilarious. And it's always fun. Like you said, it's not a bait and switch, but it kind of is. Like you said, they make it sound like, well, yeah, you can make $1 million, just get this little program or whatever. And that's not true. Because if that was true, everybody would have it and everybody be making $1 million. Yeah. So, but I love and I know that's why my clients, Black Friday, all these ads were probably popping in their Facebook feed, because they've been researching these different products and now the ads are targeted towards them. So they are now being, I don't know, just kind of caught up in that thing where, well, you Googled this and you're interested in this, so now let's show you all these things that people are running ads that are similar. And that just makes it even worse. And then, what happens? Sometimes they make no decision, right? They're paralyzed. And they're like, well, I don't know what to pick. There's 17 different CRMs out there. And I'm like, well, here's the 3 that I would recommend. And, again, if you want to discuss why I recommend these 3, depending on where you are, what you need, we can discuss them. If you want to go buy something else, do it, but just be careful, because there's a lot of people that got sucked into these lifetime things. Oh, pay us $1,500. You have lifetime access to this CRM or whatever it is. And then it's really not very good.
No.
And they really could have used that money a little differently, but they listened to some ad, some webinar, and it happens. It does. So like I said, everything I recommend will not break their bank. So even if they invest in it, and it doesn't really work out, they're going to be like, oh, it's okay. It was a trial and error. And most of the time they love what I recommend. So it's not even an issue, but and most of the products, some of them have return policies too, or they're month to month. So if you don't like it, just stop paying for it. We're not going to get you stuck in a long-term high-end contract where you're going to really regret any decision that you make. So.
Yeah. Well, it's so important for our entrepreneurs, and it's so important to have somebody out there with somebody else's best interests at heart.
Well, thank you.
I love what you do, as you know. And now the question that I always ask everybody, because that's why people listen to this, is what do you do to engage your audience?
Well, and that is a really great question. So, because again, it goes on depending on what I'm trying to promote or whatever. But as you know, going back to the networking side of things, I love really cool software. Well, going back to software. So like in our virtual networking world, I found different platforms that make virtual events fun. they make them engage. So you recently were on my SBVE event. And as you know, I chose that platform. It's called AirMeet. You guys can Google it. It's out there. And again, like I'm producing for other people on it versus you having to learn it, right? And then have to pay it. Like, so a lot of people like to work with me because they don't have to do that. But what I loved about AirMeet is it has many different components to it. And one of them, of course, is gamification, which I know you love. So we tried the gamification for the first time, and I'm able to tell it what to give points for showing up live, for going into the booth, for raising your hand, asking questions, doing emojis. During the whole summit, people are engaging and they're watching the leaderboard.
Right.
And so it was so fun to watch the competitors fall places and move for the first and third. It was really fun to see them engaging. And I think, like, especially for me, I've been on many, many summits, and you probably have too. And I've put on a couple of different ones on different platforms. So I've seen different things and I've spoken on them. And what I have found is I don't think that when you do a summit and all you do is listen on your cell phone and consume information, speaker after speaker after speaker, that is very fun, right? I mean, yeah, you might take some notes if you're not driving, because most people listen to that while they're driving. But you're really not getting the most out of the event. So when you're in a platform like AirMeet, where we're encouraging you to engage and we're giving you prizes like trips and gift certificates for engaging, then people show up. I mean, our attendance was the highest ever live.
Yeah.
We've done it 3 times. This is the first time we've had gamification where we rewarded them for showing up live versus just watching the replays. And that was really exciting to see. So again, if you can make it fun, make any kind of games out there, whether it's built into your software. I use another software for our luncheon that we had today. And again, it has sound effects. It has big emojis. Like, I'm not talking the little emoji. It has big emojis that pop up when you do them. And
What
it's
was the name of that?
What's that?
What was the name of that?
Well, it's actually it's called Butter. It's in my Frugal Techie resource guide, but it's called Butter. And I absolutely love it because it makes it absolutely fun, right? So and again, my Frugal Techie resource guide, I'm going to talk about that because one of the things I'm totally transparent about is I'm an affiliate for a lot of these different products and services. Yeah. Again, only the ones that I like. So like if you sign up for Butter using my link, I get $10. No big deal. I mean, not getting rich off of anybody, but it's a way and why I give away a lot of information for free and why I train, because I know on the back end, you don't have to pay me, RJ. They're going to pay me. The company's going to pay me. So I just found another virtual platform. Let's talk about engagement. And actually, I have a webinar coming up. I just put on the schedule about this platform, and it's going to get rid of Zoom. Like, because why? One, it's free for up to 100 people, 90 minutes. Why? The quality is 1080, audio. And hate to say it, but it's live streams to 5 places for free. So just saying. But you talk about engagement. It has built-in widgets where if I'm doing a presentation and I want to pop up a call to action with my logo and a button, they click on it and they actually can take action right in my webinar or my meeting.
Yeah.
Another thing it does is it has a website popper. And I'm just so excited about this because I've been beta testing. And again, I wouldn't tell anybody about it until I was sure it was going to be a legitimate contender, right, for Zoom. And like, for instance, let's say you are doing a summit and you're on something like this, and we were using that software. I would be able to pop up the registration form for the summit. Everybody on their own has the ability to move it. Like, I'm not moving and scrolling through the website. They click on the pop-up button. They sign up to get their free ticket while they're in the meeting or the webinar. So they're not having to open a tab. It's inside of this window. And so that, you talk about engagement. A friend of mine actually was closing about 70% of their customers using virtual meetings. They changed to this software and now they close 99%.
Wow.
Because it's engaging, because you're able to put up call to actions, button bars inside of the meeting or webinar while you're live. And so people have the time to do it. It's not like, hey, I'll drop the link in the chat. Go ahead and click on that later and sign up like we're going to do today for my gift. You're going to drop it. And then if this was on that platform, you would literally pop the little widget up. They'd click on it and they would then, of course, be able to get the free gift without having to click in the chat. So those are some ways. And I have one more way I do want to share with you, because in my academy right now, we are training all about engagement and we are talking about viral contests. And I have a little piece of software. I think it's $49 one time. You may have seen it if it was on AppSumo. I've been using it for a long time, but you talk about engagement. It helps you go viral because inside of the actual contest maker, if that's what you want to call it,
Yeah.
You're able to tell them to do activities to get points to win the prize. And then I'll give you guys my golden nugget on that is just make sure that if you're going to do an engagement like that, engagement contest, make sure that your prize is something that your perfect customer wants. So if you give away a free TV, you're going to get everybody, boy, young, old, that are going to sign up for the free TV, or give away a trip to Mexico. Everybody's going to enter. But if you give away a year to my next Success Accelerator Academy, or I give away a year, or I gave away a lifetime membership to my networking group, oh my gosh. So the people entering the contest are interested in networking, or the people that enter my academy contest are interested in working with me and coaching them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, totally. Because like so many people have approached me over the years about, I want to do a contest and I want to give away this piece of equipment. Okay, let's explore that for a second. You know what I mean? Like, how many people are gonna look at that piece of equipment and know exactly what it is? And are those people your people that you want to teach things to? It's always people get the heart before the course. They get the cart before the horse.
I love
it. I might use that line in another context, absolutely. But yeah, it just it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me. The giveaways and the engagement giveaways, especially. I haven't done one in a while. I've been slacking, Blaney Teal.
Come on, you got to get one. This is the time. And it's so fun because I was teaching today. That was our academy topic this month, was these virtual contests, whether they want to use it for, a holiday special but here's the thing, it's building their email list, right? So the whole idea, not only are you getting viral exposure and you're getting engagement and you're getting people sharing, because they like that and they like it, but you're also building your email list so that now, and I teach them to say, look, you might be given, let's say I give away, for instance, I give away a lifetime membership to my academy, right? That's a priceless gift, but obviously only one person is going to win that. And so then you can take that email list and say, well, guess what? In my book, everybody's a winner. So I'm going to give you, $20 off the monthly academy dues, forever. If you click on this link in my email. So it's a win-win, right? And if they enter to win a lifetime to the academy or a year to the academy or whatever you give it, whatever, I know that they should have some hopes of wanting to be in my network and work with me, and be in my academy. And that's the hardest thing is, make sure that prize is going to attract, like you said, the right person. Because I'd rather have 100 people that are thinking about coaching with me than have 10,000 people wanting to win a $500 Amazon shopping gift card. Right?
Oh my God.
Right?
Absolutely. Well, and back to your events with all of the different things that you do for engagement. It really impressed me. There were tons of things to do on your last event. Yeah. People could wander around, talk to booths. They so many things, right? Yes. And you were. It wasn't as if you just set it and forget it with the technology either. You and Rich was there. Rich Bontrager. Yep. I don't know. But Rich, hi Rich, if you're watching. And you guys were just hyping it up and letting them know you can do this stuff. The most important thing is we all hated lectures in school. Right. We did. Maybe there are some people out there going, RJ, I didn't. And well, then, get a hold of your basic summit, because that's what it is. It is a series of lectures. Right. I don't want to be involved in that. That is something that I will put in a window, maybe, while I'm working.
Yeah, but you're not engaging. You're not engaging.
Because
you're just
there's
listening.
No back and forth.
Yeah.
There's no back and forth. But your kinds of events, I'm at that stuff all the time. I just want to, kind of see what's happening. Oh, gamification. Let's try this. Push this.
Yeah.
What does this button do?
Like that.
Yeah.
And then also just keeping the variety. Like, so when I created that event, so originally we had in-person events back in 2019, and I would have that exact event at a hotel, right? We'd have speakers on the stage, we'd have exhibitor booths around the hall, we'd have lunch, we'd have breaks, we have networking, we give away door prizes. It was a really fun in-person event. And then of course that went away. So I had to create something that kind of felt like that. There's the lobby, right? It had the video, and now they just made a change to it. So now when somebody comes on, there's a full screen video that kind of introduces it. They made some really cool changes. But like you said, there's a lounge. So if you don't want to hear the speaker, you don't want to go to the booth, you can go sit in the lounge and maybe you'll meet me or RJ or somebody, right? We did networking one-on-one. We did the open networking where you just move around. And then, like you said, we had the booths. So if you didn't like the speaker, you could go poke around in the booths. It gave you that same feel of walking into a lobby in a hotel, going to a convention, or an event, and you picking and choosing what you wanted to do. And like you said, you got points for doing stuff. So if you showed up in somebody's booth and you sat at their table and you had a one-on-one video conference, you got points for that. If you went to the speaker website, you got points for that. If you showed up for RJ's presentation, you got points for that. If you gave her emojis, you got points for that. If you raised your hand or asked a question and she answered it, you got points for that. And so it really made people not be able to multitask in terms of they needed to be present. And I loved watching the chat and seeing all the engagement. And like I said, our numbers were way up for the live attendance. A lot of people sign up for summits and know they're only going to watch the recordings because they have no intention of showing up live. And that is perfectly fine. We have a lot of people buy the recordings. Perfectly fine. But the fun is in showing up live and engaging. And think about it. Our type of event that we just had, RJ, not only like usually you just listen to the whatever, you actually got to meet the speakers. You could come on stage with them and talk to them, have screenshots taken with these famous people, right? You could go into the lounge and have a conversation with other attendees, which again is really important because the other types of summits, you're just listening, you're not engaging with the attendees. And so, like I said, I'm very passionate about creating experiences for people. All of my networking events I use 4 or 5 different platforms on purpose so you don't get fatigued out. You don't get that Zoom fatigue. Oh, here we go again. Like you're like, wow, what is she going to have for us today? This is kind of cool. This is fun. And we want to keep it fun because then they'll keep showing up and they'll keep engaging.
That's right.
They won't get bored.
Well, and you'll get the right people connecting with you afterward.
Mm-hmm.
I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with this idea that I don't want people. I want the right people. And when people spend a day with you and it's not just, I'm going to open this thing up on my other screen. I'm in there. I'm asking questions, not just to get points anymore, because now I'm really in there.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff that businesses are built on.
That whole know, like, and trust factor changes, and I kept encouraging people to say, hey, look, come to the stage and talk to RJ or talk to Forbes or whatever. Like, come to the stage because, again, now you can ask your question live versus chat. Because when you do chat, there's some loss in translation. And a lot of times the speaker will have to be, hey, I don't understand your question. Can you reword it? Can you elaborate? Well, if you bring them to the stage, we can actually have a conversation and get an answer. And so that I think is priceless when it comes to putting on events, is being able to, and it's just like, I think about it, the in-person events. Do you remember when the MC would come over and be like, hey, RJ, here's the mic, ask your question. And you ask it on the mic to the speaker and then they answer you back. And then you maybe follow-up question. And then you actually have a little conversation. We do the same thing with our events. And I think that just, there's so much better takeaways versus here's a question, I read it, you answer it, maybe we don't understand it. Right?
Oh, that was so 10 years ago.
Right.
Well, I'm so happy to have you on here today. You exemplify a lot of the things that I talk about, and in other different directions completely. You and I talked. I was like, I don't know if I should do an air meet thing, and you're like, well, I'm doing one, and you should come see how it is. Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, what's this now? So it was an amazing event. Everybody, get a hold of Blaney Teal. I threw a link in the chat there. Would you tell us a little bit about that link, Blaney?
Absolutely. So I have created what I call the Frugal Techie Resource Guide because constantly I'm getting asked, what do you use for this? What do you use for this? What do you recommend for this? What should I? And I'm talking cameras, lighting. I'm talking all different types of services from emails to texting to some really cool things that you've never heard about. And so I created a resource guide. Now, it's not a PDF. It is a working, living, breathing website landing page because I'm constantly adding and removing tech based on when things get outdated or something, I find something better. I don't want to confuse you and have 10 different types of things on there. So it's totally free. I ask that, obviously that you sign up so that I can follow up with you, make sure you get in there. And in there also is a chance to meet with me. So if you find a piece of tech and you're interested in learning a little more and you're not sure if you want to get it, there's a link in there to book a call with me so that we can have a conversation around a strategy on maybe is that the right tech for you for whatever you're looking for. If not, I can make some suggestions. And so that's my gift to all of you guys that are watching, that are here watching this. I just want to reach out and get to know and like each other, right? Do a connection call with me.
Do it. Because if you love me, you're gonna love Blaney. Come on. And I just want to thank you. Thank you for coming on, but also thank you for being that person for entrepreneurs out there in the universe. They need you. They need you. To do what you're doing is it's amazing. It's a awfully wonderful service to offer, and I just wanted to give you my shout out for that, because there are not that many, so many people I see, like they're getting billions of views on Facebook or whatever for their recommendations, and they're not using the stuff that they're recommending, and I know it.
No,
And it makes me mad.
Agreed. Exactly. They're an influencer. They're asked to promote something. They can make some money on the back end. And I can always tell when somebody really doesn't use it. I actually saw a speaker one time who was telling people to use something, and he was live. And I could tell you by the way he talked about it that he's never even opened up the software.
That's right.
And I was like, he was a fake. He was a fake. I'm like, don't tell people to go buy this if you are not currently, even if you can't use it, you got to investigate it. You got to understand it. You got to, like I said, that's why I make sure that pretty much everything I recommend in the guide, I am currently using. I think the only thing is I think I did update my microphone to a higher end one than the one I recommend, but the one I recommend is fantastic. And I gave it to my daughter for all of her gaming and she loves it. So the one I recommend, it's a low, like I said, and not to break your budget, but since I live stream all the time, I did go ahead and upgrade to a little bit higher microphone. But other than that, like I did use that one and I gave it to my daughter. There's nothing wrong with it. So if you're not looking for something high end, it's a great microphone. So.
We do have a question here. Sharon's asking, how do I find the Zoom? I think that she might be talking about the Zoom product you were talking about.
It's in the guide.
It's in the guide.
Get the Frugal Techie Resource Guide, and it is in there. I don't know. I know this is going to be out there for a while, but definitely reach out to me. I do have some webinars around that, giving demonstrations around that, a Zoom alternative, because it's something you just got to see and play with. And like I said, if you haven't seen it yet, RJ, you've got to, I will make sure you get the link. I'm doing a webinar actually next week. So I'll make sure you pop on. So.
I'll be there.
Yeah, you gotta pop on. I had 100 people at my last one. Trust me, they were all like blown away. So I love blowing people away, finding things. I look at it like, Kleenex and tissues, right? You got the people putting all that money behind the brand name of Kleenex. And then there's just plain old tissues. Like there's the Food Line brand, right? And there's so many products out there that don't have the big budgets like, Kleenex to be able to put ads on Facebook and TV and billboards. And it's funny now, I'm seeing more and more software commercials now, even on TV for things. And it's like, oh, wow, that's interesting that they are running ads. But there's a lot of stuff out there that is just as good or better than the name brand stuff.
Oh, yes, there is. Yep. Holy moly.
You just have to be in our world to find it. Like you have to be like us where we kind of get in there and dig deep and we find cool stuff. And then we, like I said, if it's valid and it works, then I'm going to share it with my clients and make sure that they use it. But implementation is everything. So, even if RJ says this is the best thing since sliced bread, it probably is. But you got to take the time to set it up and put it into your business and get it going. And then once you do, you can set it and forget it usually. But, I have a lot of people that get a little intimidated with the setup. They get started and they just don't get it implemented into their business, whatever that is, whatever system or automation that is. But once you do it, you're like, oh, it's amazing. Like, what's so funny talking about engagement? I'm going to throw a little nugget out there to you guys. So in my resource guide, I don't know about you, but one of my nemesis was always wishing people happy birthday on Facebook. I hated getting up in the morning to manually send a picture and a text. And then you go on vacation for 4 days or a week. And then you're like, oh my God, all those people didn't get birthday wishes. They hate me now. Right. And that was a big nemesis for me. I wanted to be able to do something fun. So in my resource guide is a little piece of tech that I've been using for like 5 years. So it's still around and it's $39 a year. So you could not hire your VA to post your social media, birthday wishes. But it's really clever, RJ. And if you haven't seen it, it's the coolest thing. You can do 10 different photos. So whether they're Bitmojis, which is what I do happy birthday Bitmojis. You could literally, though, take a picture of you with a birthday hat on and a birthday cake, and some streamers. And you could do a background, a virtual background, take some pictures. But you create 10 pictures. And I'm saying the reason I'm saying this, my engagement went through the roof when I started doing this. So this is very important for those of you talking about how to get engagement up. So it also allows you to do 10 custom sentences, like, whatever you're going to post. So you can use emojis, you can have their name in it. And so I'm going to tell you my tip. This is the nugget right here, you guys. So for a while, I would have, RJ, hope you have a wonderful day. All right, Blaney, hope make it a great day. Happy birthday. And I'd have those. Well, about, a year ago, I had epiphany. And so I decided to edit my 10. The reason why you want 10 variations is because it pulls from one. That way everybody doesn't get the exact same picture and the exact same thing, right? So you want it to look more random, especially if you have 5 friends and they all got the exact same thing. They'd be like, that's automated. But if you're random, they're going to think you're doing it. But here's the change. Here's the nugget, guys, if you're listening. I added this one sentence that made my engagement go through the roof. I added this sentence. I said, do you have anything fun planned for your birthday? So happy birthday. Make it a great day. Hope you have a wonderful one, blah, blah, blah. Do you have anything fun planned? I think that's all I said. That was the last sentence of every one of those things. I cannot tell you almost everybody will click like or love on that post. Because number one, it's taking up this much room on their wall, not this much with the word, right? So it's the big picture that. So number one, they're seeing it. Number two is, I would say 75% of them tell me what they're doing for their birthday.
Yeah.
And so the engagement now, of course, guess what happens? Now they're liking, loving, and they're commenting on my post. So when I post something else, guess who's going to see it? They are. The algorithm is going to be like, oh, she likes your stuff. I think I'm going to show her more of Blaney's stuff. And then lastly, as a bonus, they might have been like, I don't know who Blaney is, but this is cool. I forget her. She's friends, but who knows who she is. They're going to click on me. They're going to go look at me. And then, they're going to learn a little bit more about who I am as a person. And then usually what I will do is, I'll keep the message going. And depending on who they are, if I think they're a good candidate to invite to an MBX lunch, virtual in person, I will then private message them because now I'm on their radar. Yeah. So you talk about getting engagement up and of course, being able to automate it and get engagement up is like the best of both worlds. So that is one nugget right there for engagement. If you want to do something as simple as that, and again, I go on vacation for 10 days. I was in Cancun, Cozumel for 10 days. All my birthday wishes went out and I didn't have to get up early and do them or feel guilty that I didn't do them.
Yeah. Nice. Well, Sharon here asks if you've ever used AppSumo.
Really?
Yeah.
Did we just have that conversation?
It was at the beginning. I think Sharon dropped on here at the end. So.
Oh, okay. So here's my take on AppSumo. Again, and I know, RJ, you will agree with me. I actually have a couple of products, like the viral contest is an AppSumo product.
Yeah.
And when I tell my clients, one, I only give them a direct link to the product because I tell them, you're going into like the shiny object hell. I don't know what we really want to call
shiny object hell.
You're really going into scary territory on AppSumo. So I will say this, for the most part, there's good stuff and bad stuff on AppSumo. You need to know how to test it because I have refunded a lot of stuff on there because I know what I'm looking for. And then again, I will not tell my clients about an AppSumo product until I have used it, vetted it, and totally know it works. So like there are a couple of products on there that are totally priceless. I mean, so by the way, Air Meat's one of them. I bought Air Meat on there 2 years ago on Black Friday because I owned a networking group, and somebody said to me, "You really should check out this AirMeet thing." And I'm like, "Oh, another piece of software." And it was a couple of $100 at the time, which was a little bit bigger investment than $47 or $69, but it was lifetime access for like $500 or something. And this was 2 years ago. I bought it because I have a networking group. I knew I'd be doing my conferences and my networking and my webinars, and so I bought it. I did not open it until last November when I tested it. And of course, now they have a different business pricing model. And I'm so glad I do not have to pay for AirMeet because I
Yeah.
own it outright. It was definitely a good decision that I made. Because now, like I said, I can do, so I'm doing a couple of summits for the LGBTQ community. I'm doing one for this church and hospital. I'm doing a bunch of their events, the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. I've done events for them. And I don't have to charge them for AirMeet. So they're really just paying for my time and my expertise to host an event on there. Again, and I don't think it's on there anymore. So again, those are kind of things that you need to kind of, but you have to make that decision. One of the things I will tell is be careful, because if you're not going to use it right away, I wouldn't get it. Meaning you have that little window of trying it out. And so you don't jump in there and try it out. You're just going to be stuck with throwing money in the toilet. The other thing is a lot of products, newer versions or alternatives come out eventually. So if you buy it and you sit on, like I did for AirMeet, and let's say it went under, I would have definitely lost my money.
Yeah.
In this case, it's done well and improved very, very well. So it was a good investment. But there's been other software where I bought it, I used it for a couple of months, and then something better came out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, but I teach my clients, like, unless you're really ready to get in the trenches and put it into use, I don't care how much money you're saving, it's not worth it. So that's why I said it's really in that shiny object territory. But again, yes, AppSumo is great. But there's also, you're getting things typically when they're not polished. So
True.
you're going to have more bugs. You're going to have more problems. You're going to have, just other stuff that, it may be a little frustrating for you at times if you're not really techie, because you got to put up with the tech bugs. I was trying to think of another one that I bought. Well, there's one that I missed. I didn't even know it was on there. I use it now, and I'm paying $47 a month for the tool, and I love it. And I went to see if there was a lifetime option somewhere. I'm Googling, and I found it was on AppSumo about 3 years ago for $47 lifetime. And now I'm paying $47 a month, which is typically the business model of AppSumo. So if you do get it lifetime, great. Actually, my podcast service, Bcast, I got on there. And again, I got a lifetime access to it, and now it's a monthly version. And I haven't even started my podcast yet. So I'm glad I got it. I knew I was going to have a podcast, though. It was safe. And I really liked the features that it had. So yeah, I mean, that's the long answer. I'm sorry, that's a long answer, but just be careful. Like I said, I usually buy the AppSumo stuff. I test it, and then I'll tell my clients to go get it if it's a good deal, because I don't want them wasting their time and energy or money testing out something that is not that great.
Well, and there are times too when I'm doing that. And by the way, AppSumo does give you a 60-day refund window. And again, I do agree with Blaney. If you buy it, but you don't think you might have time to try it out or implement it within the next 60 days, don't buy it.
Yeah.
Don't buy it. Because, I mean, but sometimes I'm on there and I'm like, oh, that's a service that I would love to open up to my clients.
Right.
And then I buy what they call a white label version, which is
Correct.
where you can take somebody else's software and put it under your own banner.
Yep.
I have some video creation software that my clients use that is it's white labeled, and however many videos they want to make. So that there's a lot of possibilities, but a lot of shiny objects. And so, peruse it will.
Yeah.
With
caution.
Proceed with caution.
Exactly. You can definitely get sucked in there, I'll tell you, because, and I read every review. I read every question.
Yeah.
I don't just pull even like the things on Black Friday, I threw them in my cart. I thought I wanted, I went back and reread them all one more time, and I've activated all 3 already, and I'm already playing with them because I need to make sure that if they're not going to do what I need them to do, then I'm going to refund.
Yeah.
You know, and there was one, I bought some interactive video software through there because I thought that'd be really cool, but it had to be hosted on a website and this and that. It wasn't like the software I'm talking about, the meeting software where you literally just click a button and it's there. This is a video software that had interactive buttons and it needed to be hosted on the website and this. I'm like, no, that's just too much for me right now. Like I don't have any place. I don't put videos anywhere. Like, so anyway, I refunded that one. I was like, okay, I tried it. I played with it. It wasn't going to be for me.
Yeah.
But I don't refund many, only if they don't deliver what I really need them to do. Like I thought it was something and it didn't do something else.
Yeah.
So, but it is fun. It is fun. And there's a lot of stuff on there. Like I said, there's a lot of competing products. So you have to they do the same thing. You have to decide which one. You don't need both. So that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, that was a lot about AppSumo, everybody. I'm so glad because I love that stuff. I just love it. I love the exploration. I love that part because I know my clients do not want to do it. They don't want to do that. I want to kick the thing and make sure I full stacked something. Full stack is when you buy several codes and get all of the, bells and whistles. I full stacked something and then tried it out. And refunded the whole thing because I had read the thing wrong. You know what I mean? So
it happens.
There's proceed with caution there, everybody. By the way, her link is on the screen there. I know that when I chat the link out, it only goes to YouTube and not LinkedIn. So type that into your browser, please. And then you will get Blaney's secret sauce of software she recommends. This is huge. This is an updated live list.
Yes.
It's huge. Get it.
And that is the key. So it's like, it's not a one and done. I don't want you guys throwing this in your vault, like bookmark it, put it. And I actually do send out reminder emails every couple of months being, hey, have you gotten in and seen what's new? Sometimes if I add something, I'll send out an email saying, hey, I just added a new resource for you. So again, I stay with you through the process because changes happen. Like you said, tech changes. And, for a while, people use X and then all of a sudden somebody comes around and builds a better, a better boat, whatever you want to call it, builds a better one, better version of something.
Beautiful. All right, my friend. Well, we have talked away 48 minutes, as I knew that we would. And yeah, I want to thank you for coming. Thank you for all the pearls that you pearls of wisdom that you gave us today, because there were a lot of them. And yeah, gosh, get a hold, jump onto that link, because you'll find some things that you didn't know you needed. You'll find some things you've been looking for a long time, and most of all, what you will find is Blaney Teal, everybody. And she's a joy because you've been watching. So, all right, I'm gonna wrap it up for the day. And thanks for coming. And everybody out there in LinkedIn land and in YouTube land and in podcast land, thank you for coming. And I will see you in a bot.